Hey there guys, today I'm out on the ice doing a little bit of a comparison of how fish look on 3 different and very common ice fishing electronics. So I'm going to compare traditional 2D sonar to flashers and to Panoptix. So let's get down there, take a look at the screens, and we'll see how these fish look, we'll see how the lures look. I'll talk a little bit about interpreting what we're seeing.
Panoptix. So this is a Humminbird Helix 7 unit on traditional sonar setting. I'm going to drop my jig down. You can see my jig coming down there. And already you can see there's some differentiation here in the jig. It's a very soft green color, so the harder the signal, the darker the color it gets. So red is the hardest return, blue is the softest return, and so green's kind of in the middle. You can see here I've got a hard red bottom, so it's probably a rocky bottom with a little bit of sediment on it, or maybe a little bit of matte vegetation. And there's my jig there, sort of a soft green. You'll notice as a fish comes in, it's going to look quite a bit different. So these transducers are emitting a signal in a cone shape, and when the fish are on the outside edge of that, you're going to get a softer return. As they move towards the middle and come up underneath, directly underneath the transducer, that return is going to get harder, and that signal is going to get stronger, so it's going to shift from the blue-green to the red. Oh, there's a fish. See how dark red that is? See how dark red that was? That was the fish that came right underneath, but when it first entered the cone there, it was a light green. Oh, there's a fish. See it? Red. Really sniffing it. He's still back looking at it. Still back. Not going for it though. There we go, we got him. He's sniffing it for a long time. So there's several things that will affect the intensity of that signal. Oh, there you go, nice little rainbow. Cool. Okay, buddy, calm down. There you go. There you go. Hey. Trying to release you. So there are several things that will affect the intensity of the return signal. And here we're judging intensity by color, right? So those softer yellows, greens, and blues are a soft return, and that red is a hard return. Obviously, the fish's proximity to the transducer, so when it's on the edge of the transducer cone, it's a lighter color, and as it moves underneath it directly, it turns bright red. Other things that can affect the intensity of the return, of course, is the size of the fish. So a bigger fish is going to return a stronger signal. And also, it depends greatly on how much you have your sensitivity turned up. So, for example, right now I have my gain or sensitivity, it's the same thing at a midpoint. If I crank it all the way up, even my jig can look really quite dark. And these are all little bubbles, and these are all little pieces of vegetation and maybe daphnia floating around down there. So you really have to dial in your gain appropriately so that it's most informative to you. You don't want to have it dialed back so much that you can't really separate your targets. Like I could dial this back, I can't even barely see my jig anymore. So you really want to have it somewhere where it's an informative reading. Generally I find the midpoints to be pretty good, but it might vary depending on how deep you're fishing and how big a lure you're fishing. Let's get another one on the screen here on sonar. Oh, there's a fish. Looking at it. Ooh, he's still there. So you see as he came in, looked at us now, he's still really looking at it. He's really, really swimming right tight to it. Now he just swam away. Oh, he's back. See how he edge a cone, now he's back. He's swimming circles around it. Let's see if we can get him to follow it up. I'll drop it down in his face. He's looking at it hard. There's a nibble. And he's gone. You can see he swam down to the bottom and then disappeared from the cone. Oh, he's back. He's swimming along the bottom just below it. That's him right there. He's still along the bottom there a little bit on the end of the cone. Now I think he's gone. Oh, here's a fish. Oh, he's looking at it, looking at it. Oh, he's still right below it. He's swimming along the bottom there. No. So one of the things that's unique about this is that this is actually history over here versus this is everything that's current. So as I jig up, the jig goes up and let it fall, jig up, it falls, jig is up, it falls. This is all just what happened in the past. And that's what really separates 2D sonar from flasher and the Panoptix I'm going to show you today, is they don't really capture history very well. So the nice thing about sonar is that it kind of gives you an idea to see how the fish responded to your actions on the lure prior to it either hitting your lure or leaving. And it helps you to inform your behavior the next time a fish comes in. It also helps because if you say you look away, look at your phone, or you talk to somebody and you look back down here, you can see over here in your history you might have missed a fish that came in and looked at your lure while you weren't paying attention to the sonar. Whereas with the flasher or Panoptix, your ability to see that history is either very limited or totally absent, and so you may totally miss a fish that came in and looked at your gear. Okay, so we've moved out a little bit deeper because I wasn't marking much there. I'm trying to get one more on sonar for you. So I'm about 20 foot of water here. You can see my jig here at the top. I'm going to start dropping it down. Oh, here's a fish coming up. Look at it. Ooh, he hit it. He's following it up. He's coming back to look at it. He likes the sharp actions, but it's just not really ready to commit yet. There we go, got him. You can see me bringing him up now. I often will pull my transducer out of the way so I don't tangle on it. Oh, I lost him. It was a nice rainbow. Dang it. Alright. Lost him at the hole. It happened. Okay, now let's look at flasher setting. There we go. So unlike the 2D sonar, this is basically just real-time data only. And what you can see here is this is the surface at 0, working all the way down to the bottom at 23 feet, which is right in here. So we have probably some weeds sticking up off the bottom. We have a softer bottom. So I'm going to drop my jig down, and there you can see the jig going down right there. So we're going to look for fish marks and see if we can show you what a fish looks like on the flasher setting. So we don't have the added benefit of history here. All we have is just real time. The intensity of the return is still based on color, right? So that red return is the strongest and blue is the softest return. So you can see as I jig, the jig goes up and down. Now I can manually set the bottom here so that it takes up more space here, so I get a little bit better look at the entire water column. I can go to menu, go down to lower range, and then kick that to like 23 or 24 feet. There we go. Now I'm getting some interference though. You see there's a little bit of flash here. That might be my own transducer signal bouncing off something, so I can go to the menu, go up to the gain and turn that down just a little bit. Now it's not so bad. So now the bottom is right there. This is the entire water column as I move the jig up and down. So let's get a fish on here. Oh, here comes a fish. He's looking at it. Oh, come on. Oh, I missed him. He's still there. He's coming up. He's chasing it. He's really looking at it. And he's swimming back down. I'm going to drop it back down to him so I can get him to chase it. Maybe he'll be more comfortable to bite down low. Nope, he's gone. Now, despite the flasher not being able to show you history, it does have a little trick up its sleeve, at least on these Humminbird Helix units. I know that some of the older, like Vexillars and stuff, don't have this option. What you can do is go to menu, and we're going to go down to flasher style. Right now we have it set on full. If we go over to A-scope, it looks very different now. Now you see that we still have the same color spectrum, but the size of the signal looks more disc-shaped. And the fuller and stronger the signal is, the wider it will fill the screen. So like the bottom is obviously really wide, all red, side to side. But this actually gives you another way to look at signal strength. So I can really tell now these are probably weeds sticking up. I can see there's the base of the weeds, and then there's the fish right there. There to see it. There's a fish right underneath there, bright red. He's looking at it. He's really right on top of my jig right now. Really investigating it. And he's swimming up a little bit. That was a good indication of what a fish looks like underneath there. You see my lure looks relatively small, but a fish looked really big and filled the whole thing up. And so that's the really cool thing about a scope setting, is that it gives you two ways to determine signal strength. It's not just color, but it's also the relative proportionate size of the return. Oh, there's fish. Come on, buddy. Come on. He just looked at it and got scared and went down. Oh, there's a fish up high. I'm going to come up to him. There he is. He's looking at it. Oh, he dropped. So I'm going to get him to come here. He's come back. He's coming back again. Nope. Just finicky today. Comes another fish coming up. Look at it. Really hurry. In a big hurry he was. Now just, there we go. Got him. He came up from the bottom in a big hurry. Nice fish. Squirrely. Come here, Mr. Rainbow. Get your head turned up here. Beautiful fish. There we go. There you go. Nice fish. Alright, back into the water he goes. Okay, now what we're looking at is something very different. This is Panoptix by Garmin. And this is, again, just real-time data. But what I get, it's kind of an oblong shape that the transducer transmits. So it's not more of a cone, it's more of a oval. And I can actually get directionality real-time and target separation. So for example, I can see the slope along the bottom here. Again, the intensity of the signal is relative to the color, so red is the strongest return, light blue is the lightest return. So I can actually get directionality and depth here. So let me drop my jig down. Here you can see my jig going down now. Now it does kind of give you a rudimentary history by showing you sort of like that purple smear or pink smear across there. That shows that there was a target there just recently. But what's cool about this is I can actually tell, you know, the slope of the bottom, how the bottom's shaped, but I can also tell how far away fish are. So I know if I see a fish coming from this way, it's, 10 feet over to my right or 10 feet over to my left. So it's a real-time target separation. So let's see if we can get a fish to come in here. I got my jig sort of bouncing up and down there in the middle. You can see a little bit of signal bouncing off my line, but that will go away because there's just a little bit of ice hung up on the line. There's a fish right there, see it? So it's about 8 feet away still. See if I can get it to come over. So you see that smear left, it swam outside the cone. So that's the advantage of the Panoptix, is the diameter, the amount of the water column I'm seeing is much greater. Because I can see 15 feet out this way, 15 feet out that way, so I'm seeing 30 feet across versus 9 feet across at its maximum with either the flasher or the traditional sonar. I wasn't able to draw that fish in though. Oh, there's another fish down at the bottom. See it? Swimming down here. I don't know if I can be able to get his attention. He's swimming away. There's a fish up high. See if I can get his attention. Oh, here he is. He's coming at it. Ooh, he hit it. He's still down there. He's coming up towards it. Swimming all around it. Come on, take it. Oh, there's a second fish now. Now we got 2. Now we got 3. Some competition here. There we go. A little competition gets everybody going. Nice fish, I think. Ooh, yes, it's a very nice fish. Very nice rainbow. Come on, buddy. Gotta get your head turned up through the ice here. There we go. Ah, there we go. Nice fish. Popped off right at the hole. That was cool to watch him come out of that Panoptix and go for it for so long. Well, I hope that offered a really good demonstration of how fish look on the varying types of ice fishing electronics, including 2D sonar, flasher, and Panoptix. I'll put links to all the products I used today in the video. If you have any questions, just hit me up in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And just remember, fish smarter, not harder. I'll see you guys next time on the ice. Bye.